Hello, group. Welcome to Action Rock Corner. I'm your host, Richard May. Today, time, gentlemen, pub rock, rhythm and grooves. Trying to read my notes from outside my site. 72 bands, 72 songs, almost 4 hours of music, and no, it's not on YouTube. Each of the 72 bands may well be on YouTube, but to listen to this collection, can't pony up. I did. And it cost me in America $32 and change. God forbid. No. You want to buy vinyl of this? Bless your heart. It will cost you more than $32 to buy this on vinyl. 4 hours of music is 3 CDs here. That's 6 vinyl records to have this on vinyl. Bless your heart. And it's a really great collection. Like I said, 72 bands, 72 songs, almost 4 hours. Not necessarily the best songs from each group, but noteworthy songs from each group. A lot of the groups, I don't know. Pub rock is English. It's basically the English rock circuit for you to get your start in the early 70s, through until punk started. And then a bit after punk was going. So the pub rock circuit of what these bands are from. So largely these are English commercial bands from that time of the 70s, and especially the early 70s. As you saw, and you can see again, they plug certain bands on the front cover. A couple of them I have no idea who they are. These are the bands I have heard of and own. Dr. Feelgood. Keep on hearing about anyone brings up pub rock, Dr. Feelgood is right up there in the mentions. Elvis Costello, kind of new wave, for America. Frankie Miller. See? Not complete stiff. I own this cassette. I had another one, but I guess I sold it. Rory Gallagher. I forgot to bring out Rory Gallagher. It's dumb. I have a small Rory Gallagher section. I forgot. Okay. Dave Edmunds. Is this Dave Edmunds I got here? No. Hold on, I do. Here it is. No, this is Nick Lowe again. I think I have Dave Edmunds here somewhere, but I couldn't find it. Dave Edmunds, Nick Lowe is on this collection as well. Of course, he's here on this Stiff Live tour from the day. Great record. You don't own this. Ian Dury. Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, big jam at the end. It's fun. But see, Nick Lowe. I own Nick Lowe. Dave Edmunds, I think I own. I'm pretty sure I do. Didn't jump in my arms, so I was looking. But with the Pirates, own that. Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. But Johnny Kidd died. So it was just the Pirates during the pub rock era. Nice job there. Okay, this is just for me. Because Tyla Gang wasn't really that big of a deal. But they were on one of my favorite labels, Berserkly. So you see the best of Berserkly list back here. If you get to see it on a screen large enough to read. Tyla Gang is on there along with Earthquake and Greg Kinn and everybody else from the old Berserkly label. Here's a band that surprised me. They did some decent business in America. Sniffing the Tears. It was all driver's seat in America. That's it. There's the only reason I own this is driver's seat. I cannot be accused of knowing anything else, even though I own this. I know I own this for driver's seat. And it's not driver's seat on this collection. There's another song by Sniffing the Tears. Slippery old SOB. They put the Damned in there. They didn't put the Damned on the cover because, well, Damned's punk. Is it pub rock? Discuss. But boy howdy, as they say in the liner notes, and it's extensive liner notes, the Damned, and they have New Rose on this collection. So, of course I got the Damned. The Damned I remember to get. I neglected to find my fairly nice sized Roy Gallagher section. Even got the Band of Friends, the old bandmates that keeps his memory alive and tour. Saw them live. But back to this. Stranglers are on this. This is Stranglers considered kind of punk too. Steve, these are bands that I've seen in the shops. Late 70s, early 80s. Steve Gibbons Band. Mind you, in Cleveland, Ohio, USA. So these are bands I'm familiar with, seeing them in the shops and hearing about them. Steve Gibbons Band, The Motors, Graham Parker and the Rumor. Graham Parker had a decent-sized career in America. Mick Farren. Mick worked with Lemmy, didn't he? Yeah. Motorhead, Lemmy. You know, before Fast Eddie and all that. Wilko Johnson. This is the first time I heard Wilko Johnson. I've read of Wilko Johnson for some reason. Eddie and the Hot Rods. I've seen that in the shops. We mentioned Nick Lowe and Dave Edmunds. Joe Jackson is here. Joe Jackson really did nice business in America and elsewhere. And Wilko Johnson. Oh, no. Wilko Johnson's here twice. That's cheating. But you got me in between thought. Screes is on there. Screes did some nice business. And I'm happy to have Screes because Screes does their original version of Take Me, I'm Yours. Take Me, I'm Yours. A really cool version of that song that I heard before the original. Tim Curry. You know, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It. Spam-A-Lot. All kinds of parts. Still alive. Tim, on his last major label record of the 3 he did, does a version of Take Me, I'm Yours. Really sounds different. Boy, howdy, it sounds different from what Screes did. You liked Screes' version of Take Me, I'm Yours? You owe it to yourself to listen to this. Tim Curry, Take Me, I'm Yours. It's different. More polished, more pop. Heck of a song. Excuse me. So, for your $32 and change in America, or whatever your store charges you, you get extensive liner notes on each of the 72 songs. Okay? So it is just, okay, here's 72 songs, good luck. You get a little paragraph about each song and the band that did the song. A short explanation of the set that you hold in your hands. Several lists of what's you just bought. On the back of the clamshell, and then on the back of each sleeve. They don't give you a clue about who's being shown on the sleeves. Throw me a clue, guys. I'm American. I don't know who these guys are. I'm sure they're hip and cool. Are they the first band on the set? I don't know. Really great set. Sequenced well. They're not like the old K-Tel thrown together hits that older folks listened to as kids and bought cheap just to have all the hits together. And it'd just be, thrown together. And it'd be, the sequence was horrible. Because the songs didn't belong together. These songs belong together. They rock out pretty nicely at the beginning. Starting with the Stranglers. It starts out with some name bands, Stranglers, Dr. Feelgood, Frankie Miller, Steve Gibbons Band. First 4, pretty well-known bands. Then you get the bands that, didn't see No Dice in the stores in America, or Red Beans and Rice in the stores. Nope. Don't remember seeing that in the stores in America in the late 70s, early 80s. But they're sequenced well, so that as it goes from fairly rockin' start and then it isn't jarring, because it does go into different stuff. There's a song with an accordion in it. The accordion. like polka music, accordion. Fits, horns, keyboards, songs that are reggae, or at least derived from reggae, not pure reggae. There's all kinds of songs here, but it's not jarring transitions. Smooth transitions to one song to the next. And when you get to disc 3, you know, when you're a couple hours in, literally, it gets to a really pop groove there for a minute. Real pop song groove. So keep in mind, this is not a punk collection. It's not a hard rock collection. This is English commercial music from this period of time, with a good deal of variety, but sequenced so that as you go on the journey, you don't have any jarring right or left turns. It flows nicely, where after an hour or two, it's like, there's an accordion here. There's, it's almost reggae. It's kind of soulful. It's smooth. So, highly recommend it. Lots of fun. But you have to be in the headspace. Either one, you like it already. So if you like pub rock already, you're going to like this. If you, like me, curious about this style of music, because I had some of it in isolation, but no, I don't have this stuff, and certainly not extensively. So you can't, and it's not going to be found on YouTube, because the rights to the music, they probably can't put it on YouTube together, or Bandcamp, or anywhere. Maybe. I didn't look to see if it was on Bandcamp or anything else. But what I will do, the individual bands should be on YouTube. So I will put a list of the bands and their songs in the comments, in the description for this video. And it'd be a different list for each one, so that you can take a taste of it. You know, go listen to some Warry Gallagher, listen to Sniffin' the Tears, listen to Graham Parker or wherever else, Elvis Costello. Check out that one song and see if that's what you are into. Don't like that one song? Well, maybe you don't want to deal with this and spend the money, especially for vinyl. Lord howdy, you may have to take a mortgage for vinyl of this thing. But CD, it's a really nice clamshell. With the extensive liner notes on each track. So they're not cheap. The price is reasonable. $32, and it's by Cherry Red Records, Strawberry Records, a substitute of Cherry Red. It's a nice label. So, and thank you to My Mind's Eye in Lakewood, Ohio, for having the taste to carry this collection. So when I popped in about a week ago, it's like, hey, you got this. Of course, Charles has the taste to carry this. Maybe you have a store in your city where the guy has the taste to make certain that this is in the shop. If not, well, it's a new world. Order it online, whatnot. But you want to check out individual bands to make certain this is what you're into. I'll give you a list of 10 or so bands in the description and a different list in the comments where you can pursue if this is what you want to check out. But I find it great fun, good value. 4 hours to me is a nice chunk of music and is sequenced well. So that's what I got. And if you like this video, give it a like. Helps other people learn about this nice pub rock collection. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the notification bell. And leave a comment. Listen to some of these songs, or if you just have your own knowledge of pub rock. Come on in. Tell us what you think. Latest in action rock, garage rock, and classic legacy bands. Come back here to Action Rock Corner. We'll have it for you. And remember, fresh music is as important as fresh food. If you haven't heard, in America, we haven't heard much of this. No. We don't know what in the world this is. Some of the bands I rattled off, maybe some of the hip kids my age know those bands because they were distributed in America fairly nicely. But still, most of these bands in America, nada. No idea. So, and elsewhere in the world, and these bands, are they really remembered well in England? Or are they gotten forgotten as well? Depends on where you are. But this is mostly English phenomenon. And speaking as American, you heard of certain of these bands. I think I heard Clover too. Wasn't Clover one with a record out? Don't quote me through. Could be a different band named Clover, who knows? Just really nice stuff. Really enjoyed listening to it. You need something fresh, but 70s and English? This is a nice 4 hours to pursue. Nice stuff. Go check it out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.